All About Me 200 subscriber special. Hey, it's Prince of Queens, and I just hit 2,000 subs today. So I will be answering a list of questions that Persephone66 answered in a video and then tagged me to do the same in. I guess I'm supposed to tag some other people, so I'm going to tag Broadcasts, who is one of my featured channels because he is new but has content that I agree with very strongly. We're both alt-left. All right. Question number one. What is the focus of your YouTube channel? Well, that is rather obvious, isn't it? I give sociopolitical commentary from a bitter leftist perspective as I became completely fed up with the left these past few years. After researching political correctness, SJWs, and other identity politic driven nonsense for about 6 months or so, I finally realized that it all led back to feminism, at least in its current form. Feminism is the string that ties the regressive left together, even though a lot of people first started getting obsessed with identity politics stuff as a result of, other things, like they were gay activists and then feminists sucked them in somehow, or they were anti-racist activists and then feminists just, adopted that somehow. So they suck every social movement into feminism it's a fucking blob or something. And I realized I needed to help do something about this. And I'm trained as a scriptwriter, so fuck, I should be okay at doing YouTube, right? I made my channel to both try to explain all this stuff to people, and especially because I saw a very distinct difference between fourth wave feminism and what people still describe as third wave feminism. So I figured I needed to explain that to people. Third wave feminism, from my perception, mostly died out by the early 2000s. I also wanted to help bridge the gap between men's rights advocates and feminists initially, but I realized eventually that this was probably a fruitless endeavor because feminism is an all-encompassing ideology that I actually think is a religion now, because I realized that most hardcore feminists kind of believe in like Earth Mother Gaia, and that's like their god. So they are a full-blown religion, even though they don't have a specific doctrine, but they have many doctrines. And you know, black lesbian authors like Audre Lorde and fucking, that type of people are basically their Jesuses, close enough. And feminists leaders want to get rid of the male gender, either through blatant population control or abolishing maleness culturally. So you can't feminism and men's rights is inherently incompatible, and that's just the bottom line. And 95% of feminists don't really know almost anything about actual feminist theory. And there's so many millions of different feminist theories, but the feminists that have power are the ones that have this anti-male agenda. So yeah, it's gross, it's scary, and I think there's a big sinister thing that's actually going on, and it has to do with politics. I think it's some sort of way of disempowering the masses by disempowering maleness. If that makes any sense, that sounds like a conspiracy, but I think that these things might become a lot more clear now that Hillary Clinton has been defeated. So look into this stuff. I like being a conspiracy theorist. I hold that badge with honor. So anyhow, I figure the word feminism should be done away with entirely, and people who advocate for women or girls' rights should just say that they do that, like men do for men and boys' rights. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about all of that stuff, and I will continue that for a while. But I also love script writing in general, which was my major in college. I actually graduated with a degree in playwriting, if you can believe that. So I do various little short scenes in my videos that I act out all by myself. If you've noticed, I actually have a full-length screenplay that I want to produce one of these days that I wrote before I actually started my channel. It's inspired by Anita Sarkeesian, and the main character is only loosely based on her. My character is like in college, and then it's just kind of a combination. She drops out of college to become a full-time YouTuber after a political character, a politician that might be similar to somebody who just lost an election, offered her a bunch of money to advocate feminism for her on a cultural level. Anyhow, she drops out of college, and I don't know, she becomes kind of a combination of every professional SJW I have ever known, which I have known several. So if you are into making a feature-length film with me, we could do it on an extremely small budget. It would be so easy to crowdsource the budget for this film, and I know how to make, films, kinda. I have friends who do. So, and I have good actor friends as well. Anyhow, question number 2. What hobbies do you have that you haven't shared on YouTube? Well, I've actually been a quasi-professional musician in that I actually released 4 releases on a record label, 2 full-length albums, and 2 6-song EPs. I have a bunch of unreleased music too, and I mean probably 110 or 120 songs I would maybe consider releasing that are basically finished, at least 12 that are totally finished. So yeah, I'm kind of make music, and it's electronic music with vocals that I sing in, and tons of shit with guest vocalists and collabs and stuff. So yeah, I do that. I like music, and I might put some of it online on this channel. Maybe people want to make me music videos. I'd love that, and I'll pitch you song ideas and stuff. So yeah, hit me up. In terms of hobbies, I like to say that I'm really good about 10 things. I'm good at 10 things in this world, but don't expect much else from me. Like, I'm incredibly good at ping pong for some reason, for example, but don't expect me to be good at cleaning anything. No, my room is always a mess. I never do the dishes. So yeah, this is not a pitch for you to be my boyfriend. I love sword fighting, and I don't mean cock to cock. I mean actual I love sword fighting. I have studied both kendo and fencing at actual studios, as well as a bit of European freeform type stuff with foam swords I had when I was a kid. I like video games, karaoke, long walks on the beach. I don't know. I want to start swimming regularly to get in better shape. I love swimming, and I love canoeing and kayaking. If you want to fly to where I live, hit me up on Twitter, send me a DM, and it would pay for me to go kayaking, and you won't even have to really do anything. Or not kayaking, canoeing. You can sit in the front, I'll sit in the back, and I love paddling canoes so much that you can mostly just sit there and not even have to paddle. It'll be great if you like that. Question number 3. What is your number 1 talent, and what talent do you wish you had? I have to pick just one talent. I would say script writing, because that's what I'm best at overall. That's what I'm the most trained at, and I've been doing it for the longest. Talent I wish I had. I think that I would have to say I want to be a badass MMA fighter, though that might get me into trouble when I'm drunk, because despite my calm, collected demeanor in my scripted videos, I am kind of a loudmouth, aggressive hothead on occasion, actually. You can imagine me at a bar. I'm all like, oh, feminism. And then they're like, well, I'm a male feminist. Like, oh, yeah, you are, buddy. Yeah. What? Do you actually know anything about feminism? Oh, I didn't think you did. Yeah. Oh, I spilled my beer on you. Oh, violence is just, toxic masculinity, though. So what are you going to do? I've actually come very close to doing that over the past 6 months, which is one of the reasons I stopped going out and just make almost a YouTube video every day and live stream all the time. Question number 4. What are the 3 main characters that define you? Easy. Elroy from the Jetsons, because I'm sweet deep down and content to entertain myself inventing things like scripts, videos, and music. Zorak from Space Ghost, because I am also a smartass villain with bad posture. And then Rayanne from My So-Called Life, because, well, a lot of people haven't seen this show because I'm old at this point. But if you really knew me, you'd know what I'm talking about. Question number 5. What do you do to relax and have fun? Drink? Watch YouTube videos? I really like watching MMA especially, and fight scenes when I'm like winding down and drinking. I really like animated DC comic stuff a lot, as well as Game of Thrones scenes recently. And I like reading DC superhero comics in general. I'm a big fan of, all the like Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman, Batman, Harley Quinn, fucking Suicide Squad, actual comics. I haven't even seen the movie. I have 4 of the graphic novels of Suicide Squad, and they're quite good. Oh, sorry, I keep having to clear my throat. Question number 6. Do you have pets, and what are their names? No, I don't. I don't trust myself to take care of animals. Though I am amazing with animals. Animals love me. I just don't think I should be the primary caretaker. Cats love me especially. Question 7. Who is your celebrity crush? I realized that I don't really have one currently. Do porn stars count? I'll just say Ewan McGregor, because although he wasn't ever actually the hottest guy ever, he's actually a really good actor, and I like his style and a lot of movies he was in. They couldn't have picked somebody better to play a young Obi-Wan Kenobi. Question number 8. Who are your role models? Well, as far as YouTube personality goes, I'm pretty sure that's what you guys want to hear. I watch a lot of Sargon of Akkad videos, and feel that we do somewhat similar things as YouTubers. Though I only intend to get about 75% as deep as he tends to overall, because I want my videos to be more easily accessible in general, like to younger audiences and stuff, because I think I have, sort of a talent for being slightly educational but slightly stupidly entertaining at the same time. And Sargon is very entertaining, but he's very he gets a little deep. I think a lot of people don't follow his videos, which is why he's doesn't have more than a few million subscribers, because I think his content is actually really great, and I agree with him about almost everything, and which is why when I made that video where I disagreed with him, it was kind of a big deal for me. I was like, I'm gonna disagree with Sargon, which is I'm just gonna do this. Am I gonna get hate? But people liked it pretty well, I guess. And okay. Anyhow, I don't want to get as deep as Sargon in general, because also I think he's kind of smarter than I am, like academically, so I don't want to compete in that way. And okay, people I look up to. In case you're thinking it, yes, people compare me to Milo Yiannopoulos kind of a lot, but I'm a few years older than him, so role model is kind of awkward, and I don't agree with him about several things, and I don't want to be like him, so role model, not exactly. Though I do admire many things about him. I appreciate Milo. I think he's funny. I've watched so many of his lectures and interviews, so many. He's a bit mean for my tastes, and I only say that because I used to be as mean as him online, and I kind of learned my lesson. Maybe if I ever meet him, I'll tell him what that lesson was. I also like Karen Strawn a lot and admire her bravery with the men's movement. I think that that's awesome. She did a shout out recently to this guy, Matt Christensen, which I think he's drastically undersubscribed. I think he makes really great videos and is very cool and actually very knowledgeable about SJWs. So yeah, you guys should check out Matt Christensen. Dave Rubin is an amazing interviewer, but I don't think I'll ever be much like him. He's kind of way nicer than I am, and doesn't interrupt people as much as I probably do when I'm like actually talking. In terms of academics, I really like Jonathan Haidt and Jordan B. Peterson and Christina Hoff Sommers, of course. Jordan B. Peterson has actually been blowing my mind. I've been binging on his interviews, and he says a lot of great stuff about being rabidly honest. I consider myself a very, very honest person. So, yeah. Oh my God, I just realized something. When I answered that question before, I didn't even do it right. I was supposed to say main character traits that define you, and I was supposed to say the 3 main character traits that define you, but I said 3 like main characters from fictional shows that define me, which is kind of an interesting question too. The 3 main character traits that define me are honesty, first and foremost, I would say. And it's really only because I'm just not good at lying almost ever. It's something, there's the only people I can lie to are like my parents. But I have a deep fear that people know that I'm lying if I'm lying, so I just avoid it. And that it really just comes from paranoia, if nothing else. And then three character traits that define me. What else? What defines me? I guess I have a weird I always I would say I'm very committed to the bigger picture at all times, to the point where it's a sort of a detriment onto me as an individual. Like, I will do whatever I can to just sort of like get by in terms of my own comfort and, um, well-being. Like, I can get like unhealthy if I'm like overly committed to something. If I think that, I'm helping my group out, or, the world as a whole, I'll do that. Um, you know, and I'm not always like, like some great Samaritan or something. I'm just trying to like, look out for some bigger picture. I don't know. I guess I have like some sort of make like some, I maybe a little bit narcissistic in a way, but whatever. And then what would be the third? Um, I would say that I am kind of persuasive. I can talk people into things. And I think that anyone who's actually really known me well, um, and this is one that's really not a good thing all the time, because anyone who's known me well can tell you that I have talked them into doing things that they did not benefit from, because I get it in my head that this is the cool thing to do, and then turns out that that was me being a little shit. So, okay, I was still answering the question about who I look up to. As a scriptwriter, I like Tennessee Williams. That's a cliche. I like Gene Roddenberry, who created Star Trek. I don't know how much he wrote of it, but brilliant premise, and I just love it. And my favorite series of all time is Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. So whoever the fuck wrote that. Yeah. Music-wise, I'm a bit of a cross between something like Morrissey, the guy from Modest Mouse, and Aphex Twin, maybe. I like Square Pusher. Also, I was really into drum and bass. I actually DJ'd drum and bass from 1998 to 2003. Question number 9. Do you have a joke or funny story to tell? I'll just tell the 2 jokes I have made up that actually kind of caught on. The first was a Yo Mama joke I made up in middle school, which goes, Yo Mama had so many kids, she gave them all the same name. Welfare. Which a friend of mine said he had heard all the way in Virginia, and I'm from the West Coast. But I imagine somebody else thought of it because it's fairly obvious. I don't think my joke actually traveled all the way, but if it did, that's really cool, right? I made that up. The second one, somebody else had to have also thought of this, but the second one is a response to that tired old, like, lesbian joke. What does a lesbian bring on a second date? A U-Haul. And my response is, oh yeah, well, what does a gay guy bring on a second date? His husband. If you don't get it, well, if you have to ask, you'll never know. Okay, that's all. And please stay tuned. 2,000 subs. So, yeah, bye.